gonna give you guys a quick tour of our control room over here. Now, these are multi-view screens. We got the board over here, or switcher. Then we got our graphics laptop that feeds in the big TV and the stage. You know, in the back, some graphics like, you know, the show title and some of the show games titles in there too. Then we got two laptops that their main purpose are for Zoom's interviews. So Zoom 1 interview has got one talent or interviewer, and then Zoom 2 has got a different person. And sometimes these also can have combination of two people in there. We only had up to 2 people at one time. We haven't had any 3 or 4. So either 1 person or 2 person, and then we put them in frames and graphics in there with the switchboard. The switcher, we used to have a little guy that basically was a nice small type Black Magic. It didn't do that many functions. This one obviously does a lot more, but because we use Sony FS7s, we were shooting out a P signal. I don't know for you techie people out there, but this board only receives a PSF. So we had to make sure that FS7 were shooting out a PSF signal so that we're gonna be able to see them here. We will be able to grab our camera 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So what I had to do some research and make sure I had the right codec, because depending on which codec you have with the FS7, you have the option to shoot out either a P signal or a PSF. So with the XAVAC codec, you're able to get a PSF signal, and that's how we were able to have the control board hooked up with our cameras in here. But yeah, then we got a bunch of audio unit here, all of the IFBs and intercoms and whatnot. A good QC monitor here for quality check. Our TD sits right here, techno director. He sees program. So ideally we have one talent coordinator here. This launches the Zooms, preps them a little bit, and then we have our director, you know, calling out the shots, and then right here we have our board operator, where he's punching in those cameras angles for program to see. Right over here we got the audio room, we got the mixer. He's also got some mics where he could talk with other people. He doesn't have a headset. He uses a microphone. So once you close this room, it's actually pretty dang quiet. He has a multi-view, so he can see every camera angle in order to lip sync and whatnot. And yeah, this is our audio person room. And he's its own little space. And what I also wanted to point out was that each person in here is somewhat spaced out. This person sometimes is not here, so the director and the board operator could actually be 6 feet apart. But these marks that you see on the grounds, we're actually gonna have plexiglass, standing plexiglass right here to be divided. Even down here too. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's one over there, one over here, and one over here. These are gonna be plexiglass walls, just to make it a little bit more COVID friendly. Again, we're trying to make it as friendly as possible because we are in a tight crew space. And let's check out over here. Here is where our playback operator sits. And this laptop, its main purpose is to play back some YouTube footage, some videos that are trending that our hosts want to talk about. So this is the spot where that happens. Okay, and this is where the stage is. Here we go. So in here, I'm actually going to turn on the light. In here, we have our stage. This is where all the magic happens. So it's a fairly small set, but it works, and we try to make it as efficient as possible due, to this pandemic. So we don't even have that many people in here. I'm the only person who actually sits behind here and operates all of these 4 cameras. And right here we have our showrunner with an intercom as well. She's communicating with the host and everybody watching program along with the time code. And right here, we have our teleprompter person that is feeding scripts into the cameras, our teleprompter. And as always, we have a ton of hand sanitizer stations. We also run some AC to circulate the air. And for this show, we are using an FS7. Obviously, this is not like a Sony broadcast studio camera, like an HXC or something like that, or an HDC. So these are basically our docky cameras, but we're using them as broadcast for this show, just to keep it efficient, cost-wise, and also for the space. These are a little bit less bulky. So we have, we're using actually a speed booster that converts from E mount to EF mount to be able to adapt some of the L series lenses that we have in here. And then the battery, I have a V mount battery over here. And obviously each one has an extension module so we can have Genlock plugged in. And yeah, so this is the camera setup with I believe this is a 14-inch teleprompter monitor over here. And yeah, it's nice and neat. Basically, oops, these are out of focus. So each camera has got basically an L series with an adapter. The close-up cameras per each host, this is camera A that is aiming to carry champion. It's a 70-200. Then we have over here our wide camera B that is on a 16-35. I keep it at 20 mil. And then over here we have another 70-200, sorry about that, that is aiming at Jamil Hill. And then over here we have a floater camera that is camera D that basically gets a different cutaway, or like a forward camera angle, whatnot. And this is just to have a little flare depending on like if it's needed or not. It's just a quick, like a beauty shot if you want to call it. But it's over here. So right now you're looking at the set with house lights, so I can show you a little bit of where people sit and where the cameras are a little bit better. And over here, this is the laptop that has the program that has all the lighting fixtures programmed. And all we do is basically hit show look and everything lights up. And then when we wrap it, we hit out of queue and everything shuts down. Nice and easy. And we got about 21 lights rigged up on the stage. I'm gonna tilt the camera a little bit. We got a sky panel. We got some X60s, some Lecos. Yeah, and it's pretty nice. And I love how our production designer did our set. These are like custom made shelves. And we repainted. This actually used to be in a total different color in the first season. It used to be more of a green and gold. Now it's more of a midnight blue, I believe, if that's what you want to call it. But yeah, let's have a look with the lights. Yeah, and the seats are also spaced out. They're 6 feet apart. And during the show, I actually sit over here. And what I do is basically, I wait for the director to tell me something like, hey, Cari, lift up, or Jamil, scooch forward. Can you go refocus camera C? And obviously I cannot see the camera. So the director is basically my third and fourth pair of eyes to make sure that he looks at program quickly, and he tells me on the spot, and I'm able to cross over when they're like on break, or whenever I can, to jump in here and adjust this shot really fast. So I'm basically like the only operator. Obviously they were able to have more bodies inside the stage, but it's not a big deal. The cables could have done a little bit better, but we have a ton of SDIs or BNCs all over the place, so it is what it is. And yeah, and that's how we've been rolling. We've been making sure everything is sanitized. We do have a COVID coordinator that actually sits over here. I'm gonna turn on the lights again so you guys can see. We do have a COVID coordinator that sits over here, and she keeps an eye on people that walk in, for example, like makeup, make sure they don't get too crowded, that they space out each other. Everybody that walks in has also a face mask along with that K95 mask and stuff like that. And she also goes around the office and wipes handles and all of that good stuff. So yeah, so this is the set. This is a studio for Stick to Sports, or now actually in season 2, or we call it 1B, is Cari Jemele Won't Stick to Sports. So this is like a technical tour. If you guys want to discuss about the show, likings, yes or no, that is fine, but this is not what this video is about. It's more about like the technical aspects on how we're approaching them due to these like pandemic and COVID times. And this is how we're being efficient and trying to be as safe as possible. So this is more of a technical review of a studio set, a small compact studio set during pandemic times. So here you have it. I hope you like it. But yeah, we got camera C, B, and A. Cari's tight. B is the 2-shot over here. And then C is Jamil Hill shot. And fourth is a beauty shot that gets pretty much the set. It's more like a dirty shot. It gets everything. It could see the whole world. It's fine. And it gets to be used like once in a blue moon. But yeah, this is us trying to be as efficient. Basically pulling off a TV show, you know, during this time. It definitely was challenging. It definitely had to be kind of precise as far as like how many head counts we could have, how much PPE gear we needed. Obviously, nothing is perfect, but we're trying to be as safe as possible. And I think we're doing a pretty good job. We haven't had any cases or anything like that. But you know, it is what it is. Shit could happen. But this is it.